What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm making this video anyway because this is a trope. I see it all the time in the comment section, in titles of YouTube videos. It needs to be addressed, okay? And I feel stupid that I have to address this because, well, I think I've spoken about this on numerous occasions, at least in some way or another. So, we've all seen those videos where someone learned a hard language within a short period of time. I'm saying Chinese within a year, to a decent level where they can actually have conversations with native speakers. At least that's what we believe they're able to do. Or we read about that Reddit post where someone sped read in fucking Japanese, okay, within a super short period of time compared to the general populace. Or someone who learned Spanish in 3 to 6 months. So how is it that there are people out here
mas esses caras tá aprendendo em 3 meses mesmo. Esse cara é bom.
who are learning Chinese to a decent level within 1 year, and then you've got other people who are doing it in 6 years. Is that 1 year, that person who did it in 1 year, just better than the person who did it in 6 years? Do they have the special sauce to teach you how to do it? Now, maybe they do. Maybe they know something good about language learning. Obviously, they did it within a year. They must know something, right? But usually, what it comes down to, 80% of their progress, is less about efficiency and the specific methods and techniques that they use, because there's only so many methods and techniques out there to learn a language. What it comes down to is cramming time. See, we know how long it takes to learn a language. Governments have investigated this. Institutions have investigated. App companies have investigated. We generally know how long it takes for an English speaker to get from not speaking any Spanish to fluent in Spanish. We know the hours that are required. The same with English to Chinese. We know how many hours you need to spend. This is not like a trade secret, something that's hidden away, mysterious, that only the upper echelon of the polyglot community. No, this is literally go to Google and Google this shit, okay? All you gotta do is look at this type of person who says, let's say they learned Chinese within a year, listen to what they've got to say, and if they don't mention this, then I'm going to mention it. They probably figured out that they need 2,000 hours to get to a pretty decent level in Mandarin Chinese, and they split that by 365 days and figured out that they need to spend roughly, I think it's 5.4 hours per day. That's what they did. They just spent more time with the language every single day. They took what would normally happen over multiple years and they crammed it down into 1 year. Now, does this mean that they are better than the person who takes multiple years to do it? Not necessarily. Maybe they are, but this alone does not mean that they are. It just means that they have more time available, or they're willing to give up more of their time in order to learn a language. Okay? I want to stress that once again. This is why I do not speak about years it takes someone to learn a language, months it takes someone to learn a language, days it takes someone to learn a language. These values here, years, months, days, they realistically are used more to misrepresent someone's abilities and the time that they've dedicated as opposed to what they actually did, which is hours. Hours spent is a better measurement for what you can achieve. So if someone says that they learned, say, Japanese to a specific level within a year and they look really fucking good, assuming that they're not lying, because that happens a lot on YouTube, okay? And even in fucking Reddit posts, probably more so there. Assuming that they're not lying and they've got provable evidence that they actually managed to do this within a short period of time, and they don't want you to join their school community because they all got communities, okay? If you just look at it and you ask them, okay, how many hours per day did you do? If they start saying, oh, well, I did, 5 hours, 6 hours per day to get to this level, that's your answer right there. That's why they managed to do that within a year. Because they just spent an obscene amount of hours every single day with the language. They took that massive amount of time that you...
Não, e tipo assim, tem gente fazendo 5, 6 horas e eu no máximo 1h30 no dia top. Lógico que ultimamente eu tô fazendo menos, mas tá ligado? É muitas horas no dia.
You need, and they crammed it down. Now, obviously, there is some efficiency to be had in spending more time, like doing more, like shorter periods over a longer period, and there's also efficiencies to be had in doing more in a shorter period. Both sides have value, okay? But at the end of the day, they just took that massive amount of hours they need to do, and they crammed it down, and they just worked on it in a more compressed time period. It's less to do with the methods that they're using. It's less to do with any secret sauce or efficiencies that they've found. At the end of the day, the methods, efficiencies, all this type of stuff, max, I believe, will probably help you in 20% of your journey. Like, the vast majority of your journey just comes down to hours you actually spend with the language in one way or another. So when you see those videos and you see the person talking, just listen in. Just pay attention to that one aspect. They usually mention it. Most of them are pretty honest, but they kind of mention it like in passing as if it's not a big deal. They'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I just did 8 hours a day. But I was also doing like this special method of it. That 8 hours a day, that's the special method. Okay, just be aware of that, okay? Now, there's one other thing. Sometimes you'll see these videos where someone says they did it within, like, say, let's go Chinese again, within 1 year, and they got to a decent level, and there's evidence to prove that they actually are at that level. And then they tell you that they did it in like 45 minutes a day. They're just lying. That's pretty much it. They're just lying to you, okay?
É o que eu faço.
Unless they are a fucking super genius, they're just straight up lying to you. And if they are a super genius, then anything that they've got to say is of no value to you because you're not a super genius. You can't apply that anyway. If they've just got fucking, you know, instant recall memory for everything that they read, that doesn't help you because you don't have that, okay? So that's how you can tell straight up how they managed to do it. And I want you to keep that in mind because a lot of people use this as kind of like a measurement stick, a yardstick to beat down others. They say, well, I'm going to listen to this guy over here. He did it within 1 year. When realistically, he applied exactly the same methods as the person over here who did it in 6 years. Okay? Just remember, hours are measurable. We can compare that. Cool. That's pretty much it. I've had my whole spill. I think I've covered everything. I'll see you all next video.
Quanto mais horas, mais horas. Ai. Tipo assim, eu em um ano eu vou ter 200 horas. Esse cara que estuda 5 horas por dia, em um ano vai ter hora pra caramba, velho. Vai ter 1000 e poucas horas já, em um ano, por dia já era. Então, tem muito guru fake na internet mesmo, é isso mesmo. Obrigado pelo alerta, review dia.